ready? Go.
Good morning, audience. My name is Lily, or you can call me Khánh, and I'm from class 6C.
My name is Anki, or you can call me Victoria, and I'm from class 9C1.
Today, we will bring to you a topic in which we find unsurprisingly common worldwide, and we are willing to share our opinion on the effects of it. Today's presentation is going to be about peer pressure. I hope you enjoy.
To begin with, this is the table of contents of the things we will talk about today. To begin with, we will talk about the definition of peer pressure. Secondly, we will bring to you an example of what peer pressure may be. And third, we will talk about the ways to cope with peer pressure. Now, as you may be aware of, adolescents our age these days all share one same thought on their mindset, and that is to be able to fit in with their friends. Now, this is a relatable problem in which teenagers our age go through, but most of the time, it isn't simple for us to talk and to talk about a topic that we are going through and which is bothering us. So, what exactly is peer pressure, as you may be wondering?
From my understandings, peer pressure is the progress when members in a vacuum influence others to do something they are not comfortable with doing or are resistant of doing. For example, if you didn't know, peer, the word peer means that those who are in the same social group. So the phrase peer pressure, peer pressure affects our friends' happiness.
Nowadays, teenagers, people our age, are free to making their own decisions, and because they are open to making many options. Peer pressure has both positive and negative effects on an individual, but in this case, we are going to talk more on the negative side. Now, in many different situations, you may be pushed with words such as, don't you want to fit in, or do it. And in some worst cases, it may even be, if you don't do it, there'll be consequences. Harsh words like that will make an individual feel like they're threatened and forced to do something that they don't necessarily want to do, ruining the friendship between them and their peers.
Now here's an example. So there was this kid called Lucas who was unexceptionally well in school and was always the teacher's favorite student. But on the other hand, his so-called friends were seen as the bad students. Seen as the bad students who were constantly skipping class and fighting and starting fights. Lucas knew what his peers were doing wrong, but they always told him to join in whenever they were alone. Lucas felt threatened because he's been isolated his whole life, but with his friends now, he didn't feel as lonely. So he decided to give in and decided to start bullying. Because of that, his grades went down, and he eventually got suspended for causing too many fights and harming other students. Just as one example of how negative peer pressure can affect our teenagers our age. Another example is that they can even encourage you to start doing drugs and start vaping.
So how exactly can we cope with peer pressure if we ever experience it? Before we decide to quickly agree to doing something that we'd rather not do, we should take some time to pause and think it through. It's always easier to resist the pressure when you have time and space in between the situation. Second, if you're ever dealing with a difficult situation, you should take time to think about the reasons for doing it. If your friends are doing it and you only want to do it to fit in with them, then you may want to reconsider your decisions. And most importantly, learn to say no. Now, this may seem hard, because no may not actually make the person pressuring you stop what they're doing. But learning to say no is actually helpful, and it is necessary to set healthy boundaries between relationships. And saying no will also make an individual feel more powerful, especially when someone is persistently pressuring them into making an unwanted decision. You should be paying attention to your own feelings and telling the person who is pressuring you that what they're doing is wrong, so that they should stop before things go too far. Now, peer pressure is something that we can't always avoid. And we want to talk about peer pressure today to remind teenagers our age that this is not something they should go through alone. If you're ever dealing with something like this, you should bring it out with a loved one or a friend that's trustworthy so that they can help you out. Us as teenagers deserve to be surrounded by people who are supportive and respect our decisions, not people who are forcing us to do things that we believe is wrong. So, this is a reminder that we are self-worthy as teenagers, and we should do things that only our heart